Well, brace yourself, folks, because since Ahsoka Season 2 was announced that it won't be even filmed until next year, summer of 2025, this came after speaking to Natasha Liu, who plays, of course, Sabine Wren on DragonCon 2024. She actually told everybody that filming will only begin after production completely ends with The Mandalorian and Grogu movie, which is coming out in 2026. So, of course, this leads us to believe that Dave Filoni has been extremely busy with this movie, with the writer's strikes, everything that happened during these past few years. Ahsoka Season 2 seems very far away at this point, considering that summer 2025, when it begins filming. Let's just hope that it releases in 2026, because it could be delayed even after the movie, so I don't know what's going to happen with that. But what I do know is that the big, humongous, giant secret that they're not telling you is, guys, that since the filming is 7 months away, let's say, then could this mean that the actor to replace Ray Stevenson and play Baylan Skoll in Ahsoka Season 2 has already been cast? Think about it. Why would Natasha Liu say this 6-7 months away from filming and they still don't have an actor for Baylan Skoll? We all know that Ray Stevenson passed away just as Ahsoka Season 1 was premiering. His tragic loss means that there is a big void. We know that Baylan Skoll plays a huge role in Season 2. He is going for supposedly one of the Mortis gods, the cast aside ones, the mother. Perhaps there's another thing brewing, because this could connect to Sidious as well. I don't know. We're gonna actually talk about it in another video, but what I do know is that at this point they're completely holding it a secret. The new actor for Baylan Skoll, it could be Liev Schreiber, as we've talked about. He is the best actor, I think, to replace Ray Stevenson. There is no replacing Ray Stevenson, but of course he comes at least very close. Do you have another actor that you think might do the job? Leave a comment down below, but you know how it goes. Baylan Skoll still has a lot to do. Even if they make it a short cameo for one of these actors that will replace Ray Stevenson, I think that the max you can get out of that actor or that character is a 1-episode conclusion, where perhaps Baylan Skoll sacrifices himself to release the mother or something to that effect, and not burdening this actor by replacing Ray Stevenson, who did a fantastic job. As we talked about, there's a lot of things surrounding Baylan Skoll that are really weird. There's a lot of missing puzzles that kind of fit when you think about it. When you think about Baylan being actually the secret apprentice of Darth Vader, first of all, he knew who Vader really was, that he was Anakin Skywalker. He knew his real identity, his real history, and then in the finale we see that he is going for the Mortis gods, for the Mortis sanctuary. So he has knowledge of the Mortis gods, the old stories, as he mentions, from Old Peridia. What this means is essentially only 3 Jedi had real knowledge, real experiences of what they saw inside Mortis, and that was Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, and yes, Anakin. I don't think Baylan ever came across Obi-Wan. We see that he never encountered Ahsoka, but what if he was the secret apprentice of Darth Vader / Anakin, and that he ultimately revealed what the Mortis gods were and what their experiences were inside those walls? Now things start to get more and more together. Things are starting to make sense, albeit, don't get me wrong, this is a far-fetched theory, but what if it is kind of true? What if in Season 2 it is revealed that Baylan Skoll was the secret apprentice to Darth Vader? Essentially what I said in the beginning, making him the canon version of Starkiller. We all suspected that it was Marek. Dave Filoni will eventually reveal that Marek was Starkiller, but this might have been a diversion by Dave Filoni. He might have presented us with Marek, and then all of a sudden we get a shift and we see that Baylan was actually the one. Only his name has actually changed. And another thing is that he actually tells us that he trained Shin Hati to be something more than just a Boken Jedi. You know, it's important to note that when Baylan discusses his history, Shin immediately fills in the story by mentioning the Jedi Temple, because she likely has heard this story before from her master, although it seems that Baylan does not reveal everything to Shinhati at once. She is slowly but surely understanding what Baylan thinks. This suggests that Baylan was actually at the Jedi Temple. He talked about, "I saw everything I cherished burn," meaning Order 66 happened and he was inside the temple. He watched it burn. If this is the case, then Baylan saw dozens of Jedi being slaughtered by the clones, plus he tells Shinhati that there was no future at the Jedi Temple for him. The unnecessary carnage of Order 66 taught him the true weakness of the Jedi. Now, according to Baylan, he saw the Jedi Temple burn. This means that he saw Anakin's raid on the temple during Revenge of the Sith, meaning that he is an exclusive member of the Jedi Survivor Club that escaped the Jedi Temple. Many Jedi survivors were outside doing missions, and that's how they actually managed to escape. But those who were inside the temple, very few got away, like Reva, like Caloran Beck and Grogu. However, now we officially know how Baylan knew to tell Ahsoka few saw what Anakin became afterwards, meaning Darth Vader, because once accepting the moniker of Darth Vader and accepting the dark side, Palpatine as his master, he wasn't in his suit yet, so Baylan actually saw Anakin as a Sith Lord without his suit. Again, only a few Jedi knew of the true destiny of Anakin, because the Empire promoted the news that Anakin Skywalker had died inside the Jedi Temple together with other Jedi. This is why Vader says that Anakin is dead constantly. But alas, we have speculated for a while, because even in the trailers we saw Baylan had knowledge of Anakin becoming Vader. Now we have a full understanding of how he actually knew this. But it doesn't stop there, because if Grogu almost had an encounter with Anakin inside the temple and the clones, if Reva was injured and didn't die by the hand of Anakin/Vader, then I believe that Baylan intercepted Vader inside the temple as well. He might have killed a few clones and then come face to face with the newly christened Sith Lord. One of two things I think likely happened between Baylan and Anakin's encounter. Either Vader failed to kill Baylan, similar to Reva. He perhaps injured him, thought he was dead, continued on his mission, and Baylan later survived. Or he actually chose to spare Baylan's life. You see, if Baylan was disillusioned even back then, similar to Count Dooku, who foresaw the fall of the Jedi, then Anakin would have possibly felt the disappointment brewing inside of Baylan and perhaps attempted to recruit him. There are many speculations out there that I don't truly believe, but it would be pretty interesting. There are speculations out there by the fans that Baylan might have been Vader's secret apprentice. He is the Star Killer in canon, an older Star Killer now. This would explain that if Vader dueled Baylan and in fact defeated him, why he showed mercy in the end and did not finish the job. Regardless of what actually happened, we see that in Episode 6, the discussion of the Jedi Order explains exactly why Baylan moved away from the Jedi. He even tells Shinhati that he trained her to be more than just a Jedi. So in many ways, Baylan's belief in the Jedi was similar to that of Count Dooku we see now, because he saw how the Order degraded itself in petty politics and other galactic squabbles. Whether during the Clone Wars, for example, the Jedi became generals and soldiers. He even has that title, as we see Grand Admiral Thrawn calls him General Baylan Skoll. This probably is why Baylan was disappointed in the Jedi. He probably hated the moniker of General. He was a keeper of the peace when he started as a Jedi Padawan and as a Jedi Knight. Now he needed to be a general, something that might not have agreed with the ethics of Baylan at the time as a Jedi. In Baylan's mind, the Jedi Order would have continued spiraling downwards in their endless struggle for power. They even went as far as trying to dethrone the Chancellor. Whether that was a good plan or not, a good idea or not, to not let a Sith rule the Republic, it just showed how bad the situation had gotten for the Jedi Order. They were trying to dethrone a leader of the Republic as a matter of fact. But now we see that he seeks to end the cycle once and for all. Who is calling to him? I made a video just previously about it, and I would love to know what are your thoughts as well.